What's going on, guys? Quentin Flores here. I'm with my boy. Introduce yourself.
Pablo Rodriguez, aka the Hustlepreneur.
Yes, man. This guy is my boy, man. I'm telling you, we're like Spider-Verse type people right here.
Most definitely.
Yeah, man.
This is the light-skinned, heavier version of me.
So, Pablo, give them some of your background real quick. Let them know who you are, man. Tremendous story.
Well, originally out of Lower East Side, New York. I raised in Smith Projects. Came out here to Texas about 6 years ago. Did a 12.5-year stint in the federal prison. Came out, got myself around the right people. Started picking up a lot of good knowledge and working on personal development. And through that, I got into real estate, met all the right people, and just started picking their brains. And then here we are, fast forward a little over a year and a half later, partnered up with Aaron Bevins, King Solomon Homes, partnered up from time to time with my man here, Quentin Flores, Infinity Gauntlet, and we're just out here trying to teach people and bless people's lives and move forward.
See, guys, that right there is the most beautiful part of this business, right? Is your past doesn't define you. 12 years, I did a year. 12 years, that's a huge stretch. And to come out and come as far as he is, he actually runs a full-blown real estate business, and he's going to be showing you guys some tips on how he coordinates his cold calling teams. And super excited, guys. I'll see y'all after the intro.
I want the check, check, ooh, I want the check, check, ooh, I want the check, check, I want the check, check, ooh, I want the check, I want the check.
What's good, world? It's your boy Pablo Rodriguez, and I'm here in the office of Infinity Gauntlet and my boy Quentin Flores. And I'm going to go over a few key cold calling tactics. You know, Quentin's got this cold calling series, and I just felt like me and him needed to get together and come up with a fire plan to help you guys burn through your leads this summer and for the rest of 2019, because it is the year of miracles and blessings. All right, so I'm going to go over a few key points in cold calling that I feel everybody needs to hear and is essential. One of the first things that you have to do when you're doing cold calling is time management. If you're not managing your time, then you're just going to be all over the place and nothing is going to make sense. All right. So one of the first things that's important is your dedicated time. You have to have your time set when you're going to do this. Don't tell me you're cold calling and you're spending 4 hours cold calling, you've not set a single appointment and don't have any deals going, all right? Because there's something wrong there. Either you're calling 3 people and getting on Facebook, then on Instagram for an hour, and you're getting calluses on your thumb because you're scrolling so much. All right, that's not cold calling. Your dedicated time is, if you're going to call from 3 to 4, the minute you pick up the phone and make the first call, you don't stop until it's 4 o'clock. Okay? So set a time for you to make the cold call, to do the cold calling. All right? Find the key time that works best for you, where you get the most people on the phone, where you get the most appointments set. So in order to do that, in figuring out the best times for you to call, you're going to have to make more phone calls. Okay, you're going to have to try different times and different hours to do your calls. Some people find that the morning works best for them. Some people find that the afternoon works best, and some people find that the evening. So you got to experiment a little bit. Take Monday and call in the morning from 8 to 10. Put 2 hours in. Take Tuesday and do another 2 hours, but set it in the early part of the afternoon, say right before noon, maybe 10 to 12. Then try in the afternoon, try 2 to 4 or 1 to 3. Play with wherever city or town that you're in. You have to play with it, meaning call at different times. Figure out what works best for you. What's going to get you the results that you want, all right? In doing so, you're going to find out the happy hour peak times. You're going to find out when everybody's picking up. Is it while they're in rush hour traffic that you notice everybody picks up the phone just to break up the monotony of sitting there in traffic? Or is it 7 o'clock when they're home watching their favorite TV show that they pick up the phone when after they've had dinner? So you got to figure it out, all right? The other important part about cold calling is your tone, all right? If you're not speaking to the people in the right way, you're not going to set appointments. So to help you understand this, right, you might call somebody. Maybe you sound like I do. Me, when I talk on the phone normally to people, a lot of people tell me I'm kind of sound passive-aggressive or sound too rough. So when I'm on the phone, I change my tonality, all right? I sound for lack of a better way of saying it, I sound super metrosexual, and I sound like I'm cupping myself to make my pitch a little higher. Whatever works. I don't care if you got to use an accent, if you want to sound like your little Cockney number from London. It doesn't matter how you do it, so long as you get through to the people. But the thing is, you got to realize, in cold calling, you have 5 to 10 seconds when that call first starts to get them to want to talk to you. Have you ever noticed bill collectors? There's some bill collectors that you will talk to, and there's some that don't. Why is it? It's because the ones that were able to get you to not hang up on them sounded super friendly. They sounded like somebody you knew, sounded like somebody you want to talk to. That's how you have to do with cold calling. When you're calling these numbers, when you're calling your leads, when you get on the phone with a seller, you need to immediately friend them. They have to like you. I've had sellers call me back and say, oh my God, your message, I called back because I love the sound of your tone, the sound of your voice. Okay? So work on that. All right? Now, the other thing is you want to be a voice chameleon. Like I said, it doesn't matter if you have an accent. It doesn't matter if you want to sound like you're from the East Coast or from the West Coast to sound like somebody different. Figure out what works best for you. I'm in Texas. I notice here in Texas, if I sound like I'm from New York, when I'm talking on the phone, then nobody really wants to talk to me because they think I'm some foreign bill collector. But when I speak the King's English and just speak in a normal, clear tone to them that doesn't really have a significant area that they can identify behind, I sound neutral. And so thereby, their guards are let down and they're more subject to talk on the phone. Okay? Now, the other thing is, in your little 5 to 10 seconds where you're working on how you sound, you also have to build rapport. You have to make them laugh. You have to make them like you. If they don't like you, they will not buy from you. They will not sell to you. Okay? If people don't like how you sound, they're not going to want to keep talking to you. They're going to want to hang up. So if you sound like you do when you're talking to the homies, then guess what? They're not going to talk to you. If you sound like you do when you're maybe trying to talk to a lady friend who you're trying to get to go to the movies with you, maybe that'll work. Find out, get a picture in your head of what works best for you to figure out how you need to sound that gets you the most reaction. Work on different ways with different leads, and just keep trying until you find your niche. Like I said, for me, the super metrosexual version of myself seems to be working, so I'm going to keep working it. All right? Now, building rapport with them is very important, because when you build rapport with somebody, again, their guards come down. All right? So by building rapport with them, find what they relate to. Find what they like. I've called people and they get to talking about sports, and I may not give a crap about the Texas Rangers, okay? But I act like I'm the biggest American League baseball fan that likes the Texas Rangers. And even if I don't, and they ask me, where are you from? And I say, yeah, I'm from New York. Oh, you don't sound like it. Yeah, I can when I want to, right? And if we get to talking about sports and they find out I like the Yankees, I always try to keep it friendly with the sports, you know what I mean? And make a joke or make a laugh. Oh, man, you guys really beat the crap out of us last time. Build rapport. Make them laugh. Make them like you. You have 5 to 10 seconds before you hear a dial tone. The other important thing is tracking what you're doing, okay? If you're not tracking what you're doing, you are basically a clusterfuck, okay? You're going to be a clusterfuck. You're going to be all over the place. You're not going to be being able to keep up with your follow-ups, keep up with your appointments. You have to track everything. It's imperative. We use a color coding system, right? If a lead is no good or do not call, red, all right? If we got the number but we need to follow up, yellow, okay? If we got the appointment, green. So you need to color code your system and have a way to go back and look at that system, and then in turn take your leads and filter them in another way. Like if I talk to 100 leads 3 times and I've set all the appointments I can out of there, and now I feel like, okay, it's now time to switch it up. What I'll do is I'll go through all the numbers that I didn't touch, all the numbers where I didn't speak to people. I'll pass those on to somebody else, or numbers where I got hung up on because I'm a guy. So maybe if I pass my leads to Monique, she's a woman, maybe everybody who spoke to me might be more inclined to speak to a woman, okay? Now, your key performance indicators are going to be imperative. You need to know what's producing for you, all right? Are your foreclosure leads producing for you? Are your pre-foreclosures, are your absentee owners, are your high equity? You need to know what's producing. The only way you're going to know is if you track everything. The other thing is, You want to track your appointments. You know what I mean? What are the results of your appointments? How is your follow-up game? In this industry, follow-up is imperative. You live and die by the follow-up. My wife, who cold calls, she has gotten on the phone and literally worked a lead for 5 months before it came to fruition. So you have to have dedication, motivation, and determination to work through this. Okay, DMD. All right, now onto the follow-up, right? Touching that again, you want to make sure with your appointments, right? If you say you're going to do something, do it. Don't set an appointment and you can't make it. All right, because you have one opportunity with some of these people. If you're going to be there, if they say 10 a.m. is what works, then you need to move heaven and hell and be there at 10 a.m. All right, that's important. People look at that as like a sign of integrity, because if you say what you're going to do and you do what you say, more people are going to be inclined to deal with you, because it's almost like they're seeing the honor and the integrity in which you handle things. All right, tracking your appointments, all right, as far as the results on them, is imperative. Where you go with them, whether your numbers were right, if you had the ARV correctly, where you are with the negotiations, all of that is imperative. Okay, you want to know what zip codes are giving you the most appointments. If you're calling, like here in San Antonio, it's a huge city. We have the northeast, southwest. Everything is its own little world. All right, everything is really bigger in Texas, I found out. So we know certain zip codes produce more than others. Maybe there's zip codes where investors are buying in. If investors are buying heavily in, say, Dignity or Denver Heights, which are two neighborhoods out here in San Antonio, then I want to be in those neighborhoods as much as possible. How do I do that? I got to call those zip codes. So track which zip codes are producing the most results for you. Now, the other aspect of this that's very important in cold calling is your focus. Your focus, if you're not focused on this, you're not going to accomplish anything. All right? Consistency. Your consistency, you have to call every day. Don't tell me you call on Monday for 4 hours and that's why you justify not calling again until Saturday, because you were able to do 4 hours in one day. You have to call every day, because the people who spoke to you on Monday and who hung up on you, they might be in a better mood on Wednesday when you go through your leads again. So it's important to always keep going every day. 5 days a week. Dedicate an hour, dedicate 2 hours, whatever you can. But don't tell me you have goals you want to accomplish. Don't tell me you want a Maserati and a Lamborghini and you're only putting in 1 hour a day. Sound like you want a Toyota Prius to me. All right. Now, do the work. Cold calling is not glorified. It's not easy. It's not the best thing. It's not the funnest thing. It's boring as hell, right? But it's not boring when you pick up the check from title. So make sure you're calling every day. Put in the work. How bad do you want it? All right. So with me, I have Joaquin, Dream, and Philip. Y'all come over. And I have another person, but she's indisposed at the moment. I have a couple other, but these are three of my youngest team members. All right. I've known Joaquin and Dream for 3-4 years now, and I've known Philip through them. These are young savages who want to kill in this industry. All right, they want to quit their job. So, how many hours are you putting in a day?
Man, right now, I put in maybe an hour a day.
Okay, but you're doing an hour a day, right?
Correct.
Okay, how many hours are you doing?
I try to put in 6 to 8 hours on the days I'm off from my other job, which I'm trying to quit currently. And then on the days I'm not off, I try to do 3 hours a day. Because I know I have the time, I wake up early, and I put my mind to it, I know I can do it.
Okay. And what about you, Dream?
Well, we have the same schedule, so I'll do like 6 to 8 hours on days off, and then 3 hours, 2 hours, depending on what it's like on the days that I do work.
So, just to give you guys some perspective, right? When you're hungry, you're gonna eat. These guys have, between the three of them, they have set so many appointments. I really can't keep track of it. I have to keep them with leads because they burn through them so fast, and they're on a mission. When you're hungry, you're gonna eat. I learned that from Les Brown. All right. So you have to put in the work. If you don't put in the work, you're not gonna get paid, and you're not gonna change your situation. But one of the key things to this is you have to be goal-oriented. You have to be motivated. Each one of them knows what they want to do. They know what they want to accomplish, right? They know where they want to go, and they know how fast they want to do it. They asked me a simple question. They said, Pablo, what do I have to do to be successful in this? What does it take? I said, how bad do you want it? I want it so bad, I need to breathe. So in order to figure out exactly how they had to work, we had to figure out, okay, how much money do you need to make in a month to pay all your bills? Figure out what it is you need to make to pay your bills, then figure out what you need to make to be able to be comfortable and be your own boss. And then when you figure that out, okay, let's figure out how many contracts would I have to get in a month in order to get these results to live this lifestyle. Now, once you know how many contracts you need to get, okay, so based on my last months of cold calling, in order to double or triple whatever I needed to do to set these appointments, I'm going to have to put X amount of hours in. Make it happen. Figure it out, write it down, and make it happen, and put in the work.
Because once you plan it out, then that's when you can go and attack that goal. It just gives you all the motivation in the world, and that's what Pablo helped me get.
Exactly. Now, the biggest thing, and to me, this is actually before I go here, the other thing that you want to focus and it's important to track and manage is your pipeline. This is not an easy business. I say it again. All right. You have to build your pipeline up. You cannot think that just because you set an appointment for what could be $100,000 deal that now you need to sit back and do nothing. No, because out of 10 deals, maybe 2 close. Okay, out of 10 appointments where you have 10 contracts, maybe 2 close. You're not gonna live your best life now, in the words of Snoop Dogg, off of 2 deals a month. It's just not gonna happen. So you have to build up your pipeline. You need to build up your pipeline. If only 2 out of 10 is closing, then you need to have 20 to 30 already in your pipeline on a monthly basis. So how do you get there? By cold calling. Okay, you have to put in the work. Build up the pipeline, and then when your pipeline is so sexy, so packed, where you're getting calls from title because you got closings going on that you don't even know about, like my man Quentin Flores, all right? It's a very nice life. You living your best life, all right? So this is how we get it done. We track everything, we focus, we manage your time, and then most importantly, you remember your why. Why are you doing what you're doing? You're not doing it because you just up and woke up this morning and say, you know what? I think I'm a cold call. That's not why you're doing it. All right? Me personally, I'm doing it. I have 3 beautiful kids. I have a little girl getting ready to turn 14. I have a little boy who's going to be 5. And I have a little girl that just turned 1. All right? I got 3 beautiful kids. They're expensive. They're expensive. They have a certain lifestyle that they're used to now thanks to this real estate. So I got to call a lot. But the thing is, I got to remember why I'm doing what I'm doing. See, a friend of mine, when I was in network marketing, he had a saying that he always used to say, and it was like, if your why doesn't make you cry, then it's not enough, because your why's got to get you up. Let's be real. This is boring. All right. This is really freaking boring, but it pays really good. That's why we do it. All right. My why makes me get up in the morning thinking about my kids and the life I want to give them that I didn't have. I grew up in the projects. I came from nothing to something, but I did it because I was driven. And what I was driven was because I didn't want my kids to have the lifestyle that I had. I don't want my kids to go to the prisons I went to, so I got to give them the lifestyle that I didn't have. Okay? So you have to remember your why. Your why has to wake you up in the morning. Your why's got to make you cry. If your why doesn't make you cry, it's not strong enough. It's not real enough. Whether it's your mother, your father, your parents, your brother, your sister, somebody in your family that had a sickness, whatever it is, why you're doing this, that has to be your focus point. And you need to take your why and focus on it, because that's the only way you'll be able to do all this other stuff. All this other stuff is boring, and it takes a lot of time, and it's monotonous. But guess what? It gets the results that I want. It's going to get you the result that you want. So think about your why. And the other aspect is this. The other reason for cold calling is because, like I always say, you tell me your problems, I tell you a solution. You got bills? Pick up the phone. Your girlfriend not happy because she thinks you're a loser who doesn't do anything and you're a douchebag that sits on the couch and plays video games all day? Pick up the phone for an hour or 2 and see if she doesn't give you a little bit more respect. All right. You got to feed your kids. Pick up the phone. You got to pay your car note. Pick up the phone. At the end of the day, you pick up the phone, you win. That's it. Thanks for your time today.
I want the check. Check. Ooh. I want the check.